Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Zachary Ireland. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about real estate and business and lots of interesting money-making tactics and strategies. That last one, maybe not so much. But today we're going to be talking about something that I think is seldom approached in the real estate space, but is really important to understand. And that is, you've probably been misled up to this point on what real estate investing actually is. And most people are not, set up to be real estate investors. But many people are set up to run a real estate business, and that might be the better way for them to go. So let's make the definition. Let's do a definition, change, your perception of these two things right off the bat. The first thing is investing is generally, putting some money into an endeavor, hoping to get a return on that money. Whereas running a business is, taking labor and capital in tandem and trying to produce a return on both that labor and capital. So the difference is, if you're investing, you're not putting in your own, well, preferably, and by the real definition, you're not putting in your own labor as much. You're just deciding whether or not to invest, what to invest in, but you're not, involved in the day-to-day operations of the thing. So I actually recommend that people, especially here where we are in Ontario, look at running a real estate business before they look at investing. And the reason is, most people just don't have enough cash actually to invest. Investing is, like I said, mainly a function of how much capital you have. You're much more likely to get a, sizable return if you have a sizable amount of capital invested. Whereas a business, that teeter-totter of labor and capital can be much, much more tilted towards the labor side. If you don't have much money saved up, much capital built up over, a career, if you're younger, for instance, if you just, for some reason, don't have as much savings, you might be smart to go more into the business side. And lots of the things that we talk about on the channel and other real estate people talk about, they're actually talking about running a real estate business, not investing. So this brings me to my first point, which is, if you don't have the capital, you should think about running a real estate business. So what might that look like? Well, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. The first one that I think of is real estate agents. So real estate agents are not investors unless they do it, as a different function of the real estate agent job, because often it is just a job. But real estate agents run real estate type businesses, and that is, they put their labor and they put capital in the form of maybe a car, maybe signs, maybe advertising, and they're putting that labor and capital to work to try and get a return. So instead of a regular old job where you just go in every day and expect to get paid, real estate agents are essentially running their own business. And if you're really interested in real estate, this might be a good route to go if you don't have much capital up front. Now, when I say not much capital, I mean pretty much anything under $50,000 built up. This might be the way to go at first. If you have, $10,000 or $15,000, you might be starting to get to the point where you might be able to start a real estate business owning some real estate. A really common one people talk about is like buying and fixing and, rehabbing older, more rundown buildings. And that's a completely different business, right? You could be a real estate agent earning a decent, salary. We say salary colloquially, obviously. Earning commissions, here and there on deals. But at the same time, you could be buying, real estate, and in the evenings when you're not doing deals on your real estate job, you could be fixing up those places, trying to get a decent, return on that investment. And again, if you're putting in your own labor into the thing, more so than just deciding what to invest in, you are not an investor. That's a business that you're running and you're putting in your own labor, right? Even if you're just a real estate agent and you're putting in your own time and energy into going to these places and looking at them, you might be running a business and you might be totally unaware of that. Just so you know, the benefits of running a business are the returns are going to be much higher than for an investor. Generally, the risk is on the business owner, not the investor. The investor is going to be limited in their risk to, the amount that they actually invest. Obviously, it takes a significant amount of time to run a business of any type. Real estate agent is no exception. If you want to earn a great great commissions as a real estate agent, it's going to take quite a bit of time. It's also going to take experience, mentorship, and it's also going to take some money. The courses can cost thousands of dollars. They take several months to do, which again is labor. It's time to do. And not just anyone can pass the exams. I think if you're comfortable, at a university or college level, you shouldn't be afraid of the real estate exams. It just takes time and effort to study for them. Another real estate business you might consider starting if you don't have any money up front, but you do want to be in the real estate space, would be a contracting business. So very, very common. These guys will, have construction jobs and women as well. I said guys, but women as well. Will have these, construction industry jobs, maybe doing renovations or painting or drywall or plumbing or electrician or, it could be anything that is your entry into the industry. And you're able to apply the knowledge in that area and kind of apply it to other areas over time and learn different functions, maybe on your own house, your own properties first, and then you're able to get more into the investing side later on. But that business would be a vehicle for you to earn some money up front so you can invest later on. Contracting is also a good way to meet people, other investors and other business owners, real estate business owners. As you network with real estate agents, which is something I would definitely recommend doing, is just reaching out to agents and offices as a contractor and saying, listen, I'm in the contracting game. I've been doing electrician, stuff for X number of years, but now I'm in general contracting. I'm looking for, more projects to take on, especially whole projects where, a new owner wants the entire house renovated or the entire unit renovated, because then you get more experience in different areas rather than just specializing on one thing. Now, obviously, if you're just in the game to make money and you don't actually want to become an investor, maybe specializing is smarter, especially in contracting, because it is a risky thing where you could put lots and lots of time into like a single unit or house and have all these problems. Whereas if you're just focused on one thing, like electrical work, plumbing, things like that, you would really know that area well enough to know exactly how long and how much money it's going to take for you to do it. But the benefit of being more general, more jack of all trades, is you can apply these to your own properties after, some time and after you've built up some capital. Another pretty common real estate business that's smart is mortgage agents and mortgage brokers. So this is something I have a little bit of experience with as an agent, but other, backgrounds are really useful for this as well. If you have a banking background, if you, went to university first, if you're more of an analytical person, then going this route might actually be better than going the real estate agent route or the contracting route, because being a mortgage agent is a lot more analytical and it's also a lot more problem solving, I would say, problem solving oriented than being an agent. So being a real estate agent is really, for those people, that always wanted to go to like musical theater, that was their dream job, but it didn't quite work out for them. Being a real estate agent might be a really good alternative. Just look at Ryan Serhant on YouTube as well if you want more on that. He's totally the person I would expect to become a real estate agent, and he's done really well for himself because of that. He's very performance oriented. He's very like over the top, energetic. People really excite him talking to other people. But if you're more introverted, if you're more of somebody who, likes having day-to-day operations look more or less the same, if you like analyzing things, data, numbers, and you like looking at, new problems to solve in different ways, but not so much involved with people, but rather the stuff behind the scenes, then being a mortgage agent could be for you. The bright side is, with this one, is it's a lot quicker to become a mortgage agent than it is to become a real estate agent. It's quicker to become a mortgage agent than it is to become a contractor, because you don't really need any experience. You could get started in 2 weeks or even sometimes a week if you're full time in the mortgage industry, and then right away get under an experienced mortgage agent, start getting money making experience in the meantime. Then, part of that, you could even start part-time, keep your full-time job, do mortgage agent part-time. Taking some of that money, putting it into your investment account would allow you later to buy some of your own real estate. Either, maybe you get so good at being a mortgage or a real estate agent that you no longer want to run a real estate business by buying and selling real estate and fixing it up. You would rather get someone else to do those things and you just be the investor. So this is the exciting part of real estate, is the investing part. And those are just a few examples I've given so far, but there are many, many others. For instance, you could be a real estate media specialist. You could get good at photography, 3D tours. You could get good at drones. There's just tons and tons of videos are a really profitable one right now because it's becoming very popular. Obviously, that's why I'm doing these. There's many different routes you could take with minimal capital invested. For only $1,000 camera, you can start doing real estate photos. At first start cheap, get some experience, get better at it, and then size up your equipment as you go. But running a real estate business, generally the upfront cost is going to be a lot lower than real estate investing. So the other side we haven't talked about quite yet is real estate investing. And this is what most people think they're doing when they're running a real estate business, meaning they buy their first property. Let's just give you an example myself. So we find a property we like, we have some money saved up, obviously decide to go the investing route, buy the property, move into the property ourselves. It's a duplex, so we're able to fix up the other unit while we live in the other unit and also fix up that unit. Get some tenants moved in. The rents are significantly higher than they were when we bought the building. Instantly, the building's worth much more money. We have all this equity that we can then play with and use for investing in other ways. I chose not to go that route. I still choose to this day to run a real estate business myself, meaning we're looking for properties that we can buy and fix up like we did our first one because we still have enough free time. Even though our schedules are pretty busy, my wife and I, we still have enough time that we feel like it's worth it to put in our own time to fix up things that we're good at, because I've had construction jobs and I'm able to teach her the things that she doesn't necessarily know. We're both pretty good at painting, both pretty good at trim, finish work. We're both pretty good at flooring. And these are skills that we've built up over time. Electrical work, for instance, these things you gain experience in when you work for somebody else first, and then you're able to do them yourself. Sorry if I'm a little sweaty on camera. It's pretty hot in here. I have the sun beating down. But if your dream, if let's say you earn a pretty good return, a pretty good salary or hourly wage at your current job and you don't want to quit it. You just want your spare change to be working for you. So you'd rather be an investor. If that's the case, then just look at real estate investment as a long-term thing. You're going to take a few years, save up your capital, buy a building outright, and then have other people who run real estate businesses do the work for you. So this is one I didn't mention before, but a really common and smart real estate business to run would be property management. And again, I would recommend getting experience in this before you start your own business in it, just like anything. But once you have the experience, a property management business is a great real estate business. It's not an investment, it's a real estate business that you run. You're putting in your own labor and your own money to try and earn a return through actively, running this business. And what property managers do essentially is collect payments, process tenant disputes, tenant problems, fixes to the building. It's a property maintenance job, but it's also a property management job. So the property manager probably won't be going to the property themselves all the time, but they will be spending their time and their expertise getting other professionals to do the work on the building to make sure it's in tip-top performance so they can get the best rents. And in my experience, especially if you're remote, property management is the way to go. If you are an investor, property management is the way to go. Again, if you're running a property business yourself, buying, fixing, selling properties, then maybe you can handle managing a few properties yourself in your local area. I wouldn't recommend anything over 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Probably smart to get a property manager because those, problems that are tight on time, leaks, especially water leaks, they're time sensitive, right? And somebody needs to get out there right away. So if you are going to be managing the property yourself, you'll have phone numbers of professionals you can reach out to solve the problems for you. You're still acting as a property manager yourself in that case. If not, if you don't want to be part of that at all, hire the property manager, get them to collect payments for you, talk to tenants, and talk to professionals like plumbers, electricians to solve those issues as they come up for you. Another thing I would say is risk obviously is quite a bit different in the two. And I mentioned this at the beginning. Investing, typically the most that you risk is the money that you put in. But with a business, you obviously risk a lot more. Because you're putting in your own labor, there's an incalculable risk of time invested. Whereas with investing of just money, the most you can lose is your money because you're not investing too much of your own time. If you invest with partners, this is another risk-reducing action that you can take. So if you know someone who does a lot of the functions I've mentioned already, but they don't necessarily have enough capital to invest on their own, maybe the two of you can team up. You put in money, they put in labor and money, and together you can go in and buy a deal, and then passively you could just be earning a return on that investment, whereas they're putting in their labor, your partner in this case, and they're getting a return on their investment as well. I don't recommend actually investing as a partner, investing with someone with no money. I think that there's just too many problems that come of this. I see this a lot on the internet, people recommending if you don't have any money, just team up with someone that has money, and then the two of you can buy a building together, you do all the work, they earn a return on their investment. Yeah, I don't recommend doing this, and the reason is the experience is not there. Typically, if someone has no money as a consequence of, a catastrophe in their life, maybe a divorce, maybe they've run into trouble with the law and they lost their investment capital, the money that they try to invest with, maybe there's a reason why that happened, and it might not be the best idea to just jump in right away and invest as a partner with them because, again, they're going to be running a real estate business. They're taking on a large risk, especially of their labor, and also your capital is at risk as well. But unless someone has built up their own capital and has skin in the game, it's probably not the best to partner with them. There's just a lot of problems, especially with friends and family, that can arise. And I've seen this before with clients. Just a lot of problems that can arise when you try and invest with someone that hasn't built up that discipline and experience, and you just jump in, with no industry expertise. Just because someone's a contractor doesn't mean they're good at running a contracting real estate business. Just because someone is a real estate agent doesn't mean they're going to be good at running, a property management business. So you have to look at those transferable skills. For me, as a real estate investment agent who focuses on real estate investing and starting a real estate business by buying your own building, by being a business owner, that's my expertise. And I've branched out into other areas as I have had the chance to do so. I did not go out and ask for, friends and family to invest without having that experience. I just think that that's a very backwards approach for someone, like me, who had never owned their own building. I saved up the money, we bought the building, we did the work to it, we got the equity out of it. That's something that I would want someone to do themselves before they take somebody else's money to do it. It just reduces the risk for everyone. Finally, the returns that you can expect. So I talk about this in many, many videos, but compound interest is the beautiful part of investing. Compound interest happens in business as well, but compound interest in business, happens as a function of the labor and the capital in tandem. So if someone works 80-hour work weeks for years and years, they can expect their business to grow and grow and grow if they're working effectively. Whereas with investing with capital, the return on capital doesn't necessarily increase the more labor you put into it. Generally, if you want a larger return, you're going to have to put in more money or put in the money in smarter ways. Smarter doesn't necessarily equate to more work. Just like with running a business, you want to be targeting the best business practices, not necessarily just working harder than the guy next to you. And this is something I see a lot in online, hustle culture things. Take on more functions if you want to get more money as a business owner. That's going to mean more money, more management, more work. But if you want to make more money, try and do more as a business owner. If you want to earn more as an investor, then invest more or spend, more time networking and meeting more people so you can invest in more people to get a larger return that way. Again, I just don't think that it's smart to take on more risk to get a larger return. I think it's better to get less risk, take on less risk by diversifying your money in more deals than it is to trying to be chasing a slightly higher return. I would say this, I say this for every video, but look at the credit spread on the investment deals you're doing. So look at what the borrowing rate is and look at what the net income of the property is. Minus one from the other, you get your credit spread. That's what I call it. It's what some of the real estate books call it. And that spread will tell you, what your unleveraged return should be. So if you're borrowing at 5-to-1 or at 4-to-1, 25% down, 4-to-1 ratio, you should expect to get 4 times that credit spread as a return on your equity, return on your investment. If this is going over your head, it's no problem. But for those of you that are there for it, it's pretty cool to think, if you have a building that earns 10% net, you borrow at 5% annual interest, you're getting a 5% credit spread. If I borrow at 4-to-1 interest, that's a 20% return on my equity per year. And for those of you who know a little bit about investing, 20% is pretty great. If you're a business owner and you only manage your own properties, you might be able to boost the return on that building to 11%. Suddenly, you're borrowing at 5%, you're earning a 6% return. Now, we know that it's not truly an investment because you're putting in your own labor to manage the property yourself, but just bear with me for a second. So instead of a 20% annual return on equity, you're getting a 24% return on equity just because you're able to boost by 1%. So this is a strength of running a real estate business in tandem with your investing, or a real estate business totally, on its own. You can't ever, compare them apples to apples like we just have, because that 1% is earned through labor. But if you have spare time, if you have labor to give, partner up with people and start running your own real estate business. Get the experience, work for somebody else, and then go and run your own business. Get the capital you need to start investing. Too many times people are like, where do I start? Where do I get money to get started? You get money to get started the same way you get money in any other way. You have to earn it. And experience can only be earned. It can't be bought. That's why, courses and videos like this on YouTube are good for inspiration and education, but it can't give you experience. You need to actually go out and do the deals. If you're a real estate agent, it's the same thing. There's no BSing. You have to actually go out and do the deals and hustle and work under a mentor, and then you're able to speak with confidence of the things that you've done. That's pretty much going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys took away something from it. I'm Zachary Ireland, and if you do like this, subscribe to the channel and watch some of the other real estate videos I have on the channel. I'll see you guys next time.